What up, Netsies? President Lars. I'm going to get into the AOWL weekly magazine. Shouts to Dirk on doing a special guest appearance this week. That was sick. Appreciated Daigle the Fagel from rapvals.com. You all know him. You know him as various names, mostly as Whatever Happened We Cry, but we're not going to get into that, man. He's a good lad, actually. He's shown up this week. He's been showing love to the league. I think he's been demodded from rapvals.com with the Sacred Scriptures thing. I don't know exactly what went on over there, but something's come on. I'm guessing he's been demodded. I've seen they've got a few people from our league in F's in charge now. I don't know how you say his name, Erebus. I prefer to call him Erebus, if I'm honest. Scottish geezer. Anyway, we've got a lot of shit to get into, so I'm going to keep this quick, brief. I've got a few notes here about the matches, what went on last week and who won, just to note them down, so I've got something because I haven't got the laptop open in front of me. But first I want to get into the no-shows, just get them out of the way because they don't deserve the time. If you no-show my league, you get no love. Dan Cake and Mr. J. Mr. J won that shit by no-show. Mr. J's a legend. Dan Cake, you let me down, man. I really wanted to see you write for this shit. You're a good writer, man. You showed it in, I think it was season 3, when Certain was running shit. You're actually a good writer, man. I respect you a lot, but I hate no-showing people. Kingwa against Bobby. I mean, again, shouts to Bobby Bigelow, my RMBVA brethren. Kingwa let us down again. Adonis expected a no-show. I was hoping he'd show us some love, man, and actually get on that shit, but Kingwa ended up no-showing, so him basically. Fraser against Spoken again. Fraser, my legend, man. He came through from the battle scene, text battles. I haven't seen him do topicals before. Apparently he does that shit as well, and he does it good actually. He likes to keep the verses short, which I like. Attracts more votes. He gets the verses up early, so again, respect to Fraser. Spoken, I can't be too harsh on you because you actually showed up this week, so fair play to you, man. I'm glad you stick around. Glad to have you in the league. As long as you're showing, you're voting, I got mad respect for you, but you get no love because of the no-show, so I'm sorry about that, but no shows out the way. First thing on, we get to the matches that actually made a difference. Now, the first I wanted to get into was Frank against Timeless. Timeless is obviously my league's Iron Man. I've got mad respect for him. I've mentioned him time and time again. He's what I call a speed writer. He gets the verses up quickly. Mad respect to him. Frank's sick. He's got bars. I've known him about 12 years, whatever. Legend in the game. Absolutely love Frank. 40B, he was in the contendership this week. I told you all, despite our past differences, if he shows up, I've got mad love for him. I've got no problem with giving him the title shots. Frank did the business, man. It was a 5-0. There was a lot of shutouts last week in the votes. So the battles didn't end up as close as I maybe thought they might have been. But I got mad love for both them people. Timeless caught the L. Frank got the win, 5-0. Zipped that body up, man. Absolutely destroyed that shit. Mad respect to Frank. I'll get into his match this week a little later on because I want to mention some shit with that. YDK against NYC Spitz. Now again, NYC Spitz is a legend in the game. I've actually known him for years from Hip Hop Game. I don't know how many he posts on there. I think he was mainly like an Asian hip hop website from what I found out later on. But I used to post there, just dropping open mics to get respect or responses on my pieces or whatever. It was just another forum for me to post. I wasn't really a regular there, but I used to dominate the open mic forum or whatever it was called over there. Anyway, the match with YDK that he had, NYC came through. He ended up winning 4-0, which was another body bag landslide victory, whatever you want to call it, in his favour. 2-trip against MMLP. Now, MMLP is my boy, man. You all know this. I try not to show him any special favours. I don't like voting on his battles. I never have done. I don't like him voting on any of my matches. We sort of mutually agreed that we wouldn't do that shit. If it comes down to it, I suppose we have to at some point, but as much as we can, we try and avoid voting on each other's matches. We don't want to see biased shit in either one's favour, basically. MLP did the business, came through, destroyed 2-trip, 5-0 victory in his favour. I think he keyed up a verse actually, so mad respect to him. But both of them get my respect, man. They're both showing up weekly. They're getting their votes in. They're getting the verses in. More importantly, they both keep it short. They're both speed writers. So again, mad respect to them too. It's just another battle that happened where it was like massively a landslide victory on the one's favour. Now let's get into the championship match from last week because that was a big one. There were 6 votes cast. It ended up a 4-2 victory in the one's favour. The winner was Nigma. Now, Nigma is one of my picks early on to go ahead and champ the entire season of this league, man. Nigma's a beast of a writer. I think he's been a bit pushed this lately. I think he's maybe stretching himself a bit thin. He's been battling in 2 or 3 different leagues. I think he's in the Sacred Scriptures shit over at Rap Battles. He's in our league at Netsies. And I think there's something called Lyrical Assault. Now, I have posted there a couple of times, maybe a handful of times, not often at all. But they have some talent over there, actually, man. Big up Lyrical Assault, man. I like that site. I think Briggs Briggsy, an old battle rapper from England, from Manchester. He's actually my guy as well. I like Briggsy, man, but I'm sure he posted some stuff over there at one point in time, because I remember when I got involved with the lab battles, I remember seeing my battle with Soul posted up over at Lyrical Assault, and it was by him. So again, big up the site, man. I like Lyrical Assault. Razza, again, I've known for time, is an absolute beast in the game. He was more of a text battler when I used to know him, but recently he switched over. He's more onto the topical side. He's doing well, actually. I think he's even champed the league, or he's made appearances in the champ match. I'm not sure exactly, but anyway, that one ended up 4-2 in Nigma's favour, but I expect to see Raz back sooner rather than later, man. Razza, he's always going to be there or thereabouts. He knows what he's doing. He's got crisp wording. It comes from his punchline days, obviously. With his wording, it works in his favour. He's obviously good with a line. He's also one of these few techies who actually have a semblance of flow when you're reading. Actually, he's got a cadence to his stuff that a lot of text topical writers actually lack. They don't put as much emphasis on flow. They always go for sort of mechanics over anything else, where I'm a big flow person. You've probably seen recently anyway, maybe not in the distant past of a few years ago when I was writing as Barrowmind or wherever on the forums. I used to have more mechanics-based versus technical aspects to it, whereas more recently I've stripped it down as Lars, and I try and keep the line length short where I can do to help the flow. Another good battle that went ahead. Now, this one was between F, the Scottish guy, against Flowreel, who he lives not too far from me, to be fair. I don't know him personally, but he lives maybe a city or two over. So it's quite a good battle. Two UK heads going at it for once. It was interesting to me to see that shit go down. Maybe not for all of the forum, but for me personally, I like to see that shit. It ended up 4-1 in F's favour, if I remember correct. And that was the battles of the week, basically. That's your previews of them all and what rounded them up. I wanted to get into a couple this week that have already finished. I mean, Spoken against Derg. I think that's how you pronounce it. My Irish isn't great. I'm ever so sorry. But Derg Daigle from rapbattles.com went up against Spoken. Spoken showed this week. He didn't last week. Spoken ended up losing 5-1, which is credit to Derg in all fairness, because he's a good writer, man, when he turns it on. He hasn't champed a whole lot of tournaments and that, but he's been in sort of quarterfinals, semi-finals, or there and thereabouts every couple of times when I've seen him. I've seen maybe 5-6 appearances from him. So he's a good writer, man. He's not to be slept on. I know he's maybe an unknown quantity to Netsies, but he is definitely one to look out for. 2-trip against Systematic Infection. I hate that guy's name, by the way. I cannot say that shit as much as I try. Anyway, Systematic, he's no-showed again. That's the second time that I recall. I don't remember him winning showing, but he's actually 1-0 up against somebody, so I don't remember that one, but maybe Adonis fucked the fucking rankings up. But anyway, 2-trip scores his win. I think he goes 3-7 by doing so, which is amazing. I love 2-trip to death, but I want to see some improvement from him, man. Hopefully this win spurs him on, makes the surge up the table or whatever. But 2-trip won that one by no-show. The only other one I wanted to get into this week was the battle between F and Frank. Now, from what I remember, without the keyboard in front of me or anything, it was the contendership match. There was a lot of controversy over this one, man. Frank's obviously shown up with what I'm guessing was a no-show verse. I don't really like saying that in the video before battles have been ran up. But F's obviously shown with a novel. People were debating whether it was over the line limits. I mean, as far as I didn't even know we had line limits in the league. I don't pay that much attention to the rules. I've never come across that stuff in another league before. I've always just said, you know, you write what you've got to write, you post it up, that's it. I'm not too bothered with line limits and setting an exact thing of like 48 lines or whatever. I tend to write in 16s in truth. I'll write, say, 16, 32, so forth, 64s. I don't tend to write any stuff like that, really. If I have to, I'll break it down into 8s. But again, that's mainly through recording songs or whatever. It just comes naturally to me to write that way. So I don't really pay much attention to line limits other than 16s, 32s, whatever. I have to say my ruling on that one is basically that F broke no rules, in my opinion. There was some controversy over the 650 word rule or something like that. But as someone pointed out, Frank had actually gone over the word limit, if you like, the week before. So I don't really see that he has a leg to stand on, really. He can't be breaking a rule the one week and then trying to exact it in his favour the week after when someone does it across him. Do you see what I mean? I try and keep this as fair as I possibly can. Anyway, we're heading to the 10-minute mark on the video, man, and these take forever to upload with how much I talk. So for this week, that's President Lars out. Shouts to Dirk, shouts to my boy MMLP, shouts to everyone keeping the league popping, all of those showing up. and the no-shows, man. I have got a little love for you because you signed up in the first place. You meant well, even if you didn't come through. President Lars, peace out, yeah? See you next week. Mwah.